Let me ask you a question, and I want you to be really honest with yourself for a second. Have you ever felt like you were running on a treadmill?
Oh,
And I
yeah.
don't mean literally at the gym. I mean in life. You have the best intentions, you're putting in the work, maybe you're even exhausted at the end of every day.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at the GPS of your life, you haven't actually moved. You're in the exact same spot financially, physically, or in your career as you were a year ago.
It's that running in place syndrome. It's incredibly common.
Right. And then, to make matters worse, you look over at your neighbor or your colleague or, heaven forbid, someone on Instagram, and they seem to be rocketing to the moon.
It looks like it happens overnight.
It does. They lose the weight overnight, their business explodes. And it feels, I don't know, unfair. It feels like they have a cheat code or maybe just better luck. But what if I told you that the difference between you and them isn't magic?
It's not luck.
And it definitely isn't that they are smarter than you.
It's usually just math.
Exactly. It is a simple, unsexy, mathematical principle that governs literally every outcome in your life. And that is what we are breaking down today. Welcome back to the Deep Dive.
It's good to be here.
I am your host, and today we are unpacking a book that, honestly, it claims to be the operating system for success. We are talking about The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy.
This is a heavy hitter. It's one of those books that you see on the shelf of almost every CEO or high performer. It's foundational.
For sure. And before we get into the nuts and bolts, we should probably establish why we should even listen to Darren Hardy. I mean, he isn't just an academic theorizing in a tower somewhere.
No, definitely not. Hardy is a practitioner through and through. For years, he was the publisher of Success magazine.
Right.
And if you just think about what that job entails, it's basically being a professional hunter of success secrets. He has sat across the table from Richard Branson, Steve Jobs, Colin Powell, Elon Musk. I mean, he's interviewed essentially every titan of industry for decades.
That's the ultimate access. He's looking for the common denominators, the patterns.
Exactly. But his own story is arguably just as compelling. He was a self-made millionaire by 24.
24.
By 27, he had a company doing $50 million in revenue.
50 million by 27. That is a stat that just makes you pause.
It does. But here is the thing that Hardy stresses, and it's the premise of the whole book. He wasn't the smartest kid in the room. He wasn't the most talented.
Joe Silver Spoon.
He didn't have a massive inheritance. He just understood the law of compounding better than anyone else.
We are going to deconstruct exactly how he did that. But before we unlock the formula, I want to take a quick second to invite you to hit that subscribe button for the Audible Books channel.
Do it.
If you love these deep dives, if you love getting the distilled wisdom of the world's best books without having to read 400 pages every night, this is the place for you. We're constantly uploading new breakdowns, and trust me, you do not want to miss the next one.
It's no no-brainer.
So hit subscribe, join the community, and let's get smarter together.
Ready to get into the math.
Let's do it. So, the compound effect. The title alone sounds a bit like a finance lecture, like we're going to talk about 401ks and interest rates.
And it's definitely borrowed from finance, but Hardy applies it to behavior. The core philosophy is it's deceptively simple. He defines the compound effect as the principle of reaping huge rewards from a series of small, smart choices.
Small, smart choices. That sounds easy. It sounds almost too easy.
And that's the trap. It sounds easy, so we dismiss it. We're all looking for the magic bullet. We want the complicated, expensive marketing strategy, or the radical crash diet, or the lottery ticket.
The quick fix.
Yeah. Hardy gives us a formula that is just boringly reliable. Small, smart choices plus consistency plus time, radical difference.
I think the variable in that equation that kills everyone is time. We live in what I call the microwave society. We press a button and we want the burrito hot in 30 seconds.
Instant gratification.
If we have to wait a year, forget it.
Precisely. We are wired for immediate feedback. If you touch a hot stove, you get burned instantly. You learn not to do it, the feedback is immediate and negative.
Okay.
But if you eat a donut, you don't instantly gain 10 pounds. You actually feel good. The sugar hits, the dopamine spikes, the feedback is positive, even though the long-term result is negative.
That's a dangerous disconnect, isn't it? The immediate reward contradicts the ultimate outcome.
It's the most dangerous disconnect there is. And Hardy uses the magic penny analogy to illustrate this, and I think we really need to walk through this because our brains are terrible at exponential math. We are linear thinkers in an exponential world.
Okay, lay it out for us.
So I offer you a deal. Option A. I give you $3 million in cash right now. It's in a briefcase. You can walk away with it.
Done. I'll take it.
Or option B. I give you a single penny 1 cent that doubles in value every day for 31 days. Which one do you take?
See, knowing this book, I know the answer is the penny, but my lizard brain, the part of me that wants safety and security, it is screaming, take the $3 million. I mean, $3 million is life-changing money.
Correct.
I can buy the house, the car, invest the rest, and be set. The penny feels like a gamble.
It feels risky because you can't see the end. So let's play it out. Let's say you, being the smart host you are, take the penny. And your neighbor, let's call him Bob, takes the $3 million.
Bob is having a great day.
Bob is buying a Lamborghini on day 1. He's throwing parties. Meanwhile, let's look at your penny. Day 5, you have 16 cents.
Okay, this is humiliating. Bob drives by in his Lambo, honks at me, and I'm holding 16 cents. I'm seriously questioning my life choices.
Oh, it gets worse. Day 10. You've been doubling this thing for a week and a half. You have $5.12.
$5.
Bob is probably in Hawaii by now. You can't even buy a value meal.
I'm definitely quitting. This is where most people bail, right? We put in the work, we're doubling our effort every day, and the result is $5. It's insulting.
This is what he calls the valley of despair. You're working hard, but the results haven't shown up yet. So let's fast forward to day 20. 2/3 of the month is gone. Bob still has his millions, minus the Lambo cost.
And me?
You have $5,243.
I mean, $5,000 is okay, but compared to $3 million, I feel like an idiot. I've wasted 20 days of my life.
This is the critical juncture. This is where people say this diet doesn't work or this business strategy is a bust. But look at day 29. You're 2 days away from the end. You finally have $2.7 million.
Okay, so on day 29, I'm finally catching up to Bob, but I'm still technically behind after all that work.
Right. But watch the explosion. Day 30, $5.3 million.
Whoa!
You've almost doubled Bob. And day 31, the final day.
Hit me.
$10,737,418.24.
That is mind-bending.
You end up with more than 3 times what Bob has. But notice where the magic happened. It happened in the last 48 hours.
The whole first month was just the setup.
The entire first 28 days was just setting the stage for that explosion. The lesson is that the results of compounding are always delayed. They are back-end loaded.
Yeah.
If you quit on day 20 or even day 29, you lose everything.
It reminds me of that saying about the Chinese bamboo tree. You water it for 5 years and see nothing, and then in 6 weeks it grows 90 feet.
It's the exact same principle. And Hardy applies this to our daily habits with the story of the 3 friends. This creates a really vivid picture of how this plays out in real life, not just with money.
I love this example because it's so relatable. Larry, Scott, and Brad.
Right. So you have 3 guys. They grew up together, live in the same neighborhood, make roughly the same salary, like $50,000 a year, have average health, average marriages. They are the baseline.
The control group.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's look at Larry. Larry is the status quo. He does what he's always done. He goes to work, comes home, watches a little TV, eats average food. He doesn't change anything.
He's coasting. It's
Yeah.
just...
Then there's Scott. Scott decides he wants to improve, but he's not going crazy. He's not training for an Ironman or anything. He decides to read 10 pages of a good book every day.
Okay, manageable.
He listens to an instructional podcast on his commute. He cuts just 125 calories from his diet, maybe swaps a soda for water, and he walks an extra 2,000 steps a day.
That is barely noticeable. Cutting 125 calories is literally half a candy bar.
It's nothing. Now let's look at Brad. Brad is the good time guy. He buys a massive new TV with a great sound system. He starts watching the cooking channel and trying out rich recipes, lots of butter, lots of sauce. He installs a bar in his basement and has just 1 extra drink a week. And because he's watching that big TV, he walks a little less.
Again, Brad isn't shooting heroin. He's not blowing his life savings at the casino. He's just relaxing a little more.
He's drifting. Now, let's look at the timeline. 5 months go by. Month 5. Is there a difference between these 3 guys?
Probably not. Not one you could see.
0 difference. Brad is having fun with his TV. Scott is reading his books. Larry is Larry. Okay, month 10. Still no real difference. Maybe Scott feels a bit smarter. Maybe Brad feels a bit fuller after dinner. But nobody notices.
This is the danger zone, isn't it? This is where Scott wants to quit because he's suffering, or at least being disciplined, for no visible reward, and Brad sees no negative consequences.
Precisely. But let's warp speed to month 31. 2.5 years later, the compound effect is fully matured.
Okay, what's the damage?
The difference is startling. Brad is now fat. That 125 extra calories a day, that's 33 pounds gained over 31 months.
Wow.
But it's not just the weight. The rich food and alcohol made him sleep poorly. The poor sleep made him groggy and irritable at work. His performance slipped. He missed a promotion.
Oh, man.
The stress from work came home. He argued with his wife. He withdrew to the basement to watch TV and drink more. His marriage is on the rocks.
That is the ripple effect. It started with a TV and a recipe, and it ended with a failing marriage and obesity. It's terrifying.
Meanwhile, look at Scott. That 125 calories cut, he's down 33 pounds. He's lean. The exercise gave him endorphins and energy. The books he read, dozens of them by now, gave him new ideas for his company.
So he got the promotion.
He got the promotion Brad missed. His confidence is high. He takes his wife on a vacation with the bonus money. His marriage is thriving.
And Larry, the control group.
Larry is exactly where he was. But compared to Scott, he feels like a failure. He's bitter. He looks at Scott and thinks he got lucky.
That's the kicker. From the outside, Scott's success looks like an overnight success. People would say, wow, Scott really leveled up out of nowhere. But they didn't see the 10 pages a day for 31 months.
Exactly. And they didn't see Brad's slow decline. They just see the crash at the end. Which brings us to the most uncomfortable part of the book for a lot of people. Responsibility.
Yeah, this is where Hardy stops being a polite author and starts getting in your face a bit. He's not messing around.
He does. He argues that we sleepwalk into our choices. Brad didn't choose to get fat and nearly divorced. He chose a TV and a drink. The outcome was a result of unconscious compounding.
Hardy calls this being bitten by a mosquito versus an elephant.
Right. You don't walk down the street and get bitten by an elephant. You see the elephant coming. You avoid it. The big, obvious disasters in life are rare. It's the mosquitoes, the tiny, irritating, almost invisible things that bite you over and over again until you're sick.
The little choices. So the antidote to sleepwalking is taking responsibility. But Hardy takes this to an extreme that I think we need to talk about. He talks about a seminar where the speaker asks about the responsibility ratio in a relationship.
This is a famous paradigm shift. The speaker asks, what is the ratio of responsibility to make a relationship work? And the audience, they yell out 50-50 or maybe 51-49.
Which sounds reasonable. It's a partnership. We meet in the middle, right?
And the speaker says, wrong. It is 100-0.
100-0. Okay, wait. That implies I do everything and you do nothing. That sounds like a recipe for being a doormat.
It sounds like that on the surface, but let's unpack the psychology. If I believe it's 50-50, I am constantly keeping score. I did the dishes, so you have to do the laundry.
I apologize. Now it's your turn.
Exactly. I apologize. Now you have to apologize.
Yeah.
I am waiting for you to fulfill your 50%. I am essentially a victim of your performance. My happiness depends on you.
Okay, I see that. If you don't show up, I feel justified in checking out because you broke the deal.
Exactly. But if I take 100% responsibility and expect 0% in return, I am in total control. I am doing my part because that is who I am, not because of what you do. If the relationship fails, I know I did everything I could. I have no regrets.
It shifts the focus from blame to agency. It puts the power back in your hands.
Yes. And he gives a formula for this. E plus R equals event plus response, outcome.
This is classic stoicism, right?
It is. The event, the E is uncontrollable. The traffic, the economy, the weather, your rude boss, you cannot change the event. Most people spend all their energy screaming at the event.
Why is there traffic?
Well,
as if honking is going to fix it.
Right, as if the traffic cares. But the O, the outcome is determined entirely by your R, your response. E plus R equals O. If you want a different outcome, you have to change your response. You can't change the events.
But let me play devil's advocate here for a second. What about things that are genuinely not your fault? Say a drunk driver hits you, or you get a genetic illness. Is Hardy saying that is your responsibility?
That's a crucial distinction. It's not your fault. Fault looks backward. Responsibility looks forward. Think of it as responsibility, your ability to respond. If you get hit by a drunk driver, it is 100% their fault. But it is 100% your responsibility to do the rehab, to keep your mindset positive, to rebuild your life. If you wait for the drunk driver to fix your life, you will wait forever.
That's empowering. It's harsh, but it's incredibly empowering. It eliminates the victim mentality entirely.
And this ties directly into his definition of luck. People love to say success is just luck. Oh, Scott just got lucky with that promotion.
Hardy hates the L word.
He deconstructs it. He says luck is an equal opportunity distributor. Luck is flying around us all the time. The difference is who's prepared to catch it. He has a formula for luck.
Okay, what is it?
preparation, plus attitude, plus opportunity, plus action, luck.
So if I'm not prepared through personal growth and I don't have the right mindset or attitude to even see the opportunity, and then I don't take action when it appears, the luck just passes me by.
Exactly. The opportunity was there for everyone. You just missed it. So you weren't unlucky. You were unprepared.
So if we accept 100% responsibility, how do we actually stop the sleepwalking? How do we catch ourselves making those bad Brad choices in the moment?
Hardy offers a tool that is so simple most people refuse to do it. He calls it the secret weapon.
Tracking.
Tracking. Writing it down.
Everything.
Writing everything down. If you want to fix your finances, you don't just look at the bank statement at the end of the month. You carry a notepad. You write down every coffee, every parking meter, every tip, every pack of gum.
Why the extreme detail, though? Is it just about having the data?
No, it's not really about the data. It's about the psychology. In physics, there's something called the observer effect. The act of observing a particle changes its behavior. Same happens with you. When you know you have to write down that you ate a second donut, you often won't eat the second donut.
Because you don't want the shame of seeing it in the logbook. You have to face yourself.
Exactly. It forces the unconscious into the conscious. Hardy tells a story about his own accountant, a guy who deals with numbers all day, who is digging a financial grave. He didn't know where his money was going.
That's ironic.
Right. Hardy made him track every single penny for 30 days.
And what happened?
The guy found thousands of dollars leaking out in invisible spending. The latte factor, subscriptions he forgot about, random fees. Once he saw it, he could stop it. You cannot manage what you do not measure.
I've tried this, and I'll admit I failed after like 3 days. It's annoying. It's so tedious.
It is annoying. And that's the point. It's supposed to be friction. You want to add friction to the bad habits and remove friction from the good ones, which leads us perfectly into Chapter 3, habits.
Diet, the engine of the car.
Aristotle said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Psychologists estimate that 95% of our behavior is habitual. We are on autopilot.
That's a terrifying thought. We are basically organic robots running scripts that we wrote 10 years ago.
Exactly. And if you wrote a bad script, you're in trouble. Hardy uses the teacher and the tree story to explain how hard it is to change these scripts.
Okay, set the scene for us.
So a wise teacher takes a young student into the forest. He points to a tiny sprout, a sapling, just coming out of the dirt. He says, "Pull that up." The student bends down, plucks it out with 2 fingers.
Yeah.
Easy.
That's a new habit. Easy to break.
Then he points to a slightly bigger bush. The student has to use 2 hands. Maybe he leverages his weight a bit, but he yanks it out. Then a small tree. The student's sweating, digging around the roots, struggling for 10 minutes. Finally, he points to a massive oak tree. "Pull that up."
And the student says, "I can't."
That is your habit after 10 years. The roots are deep. They're wrapped around everything. You can't just decide to pull it up. You need heavy machinery.
And willpower isn't heavy machinery, is it?
No. This is the biggest myth in self-help. Just use willpower. Willpower is a battery. It drains. By 4 p.m., your willpower is gone. Hardy says relying on willpower to fight an addiction or a deep habit is like trying to cover a grizzly bear with a napkin.
I love that image. The napkin is not going to win. The bear is going to eat you. So what's the weapon if not willpower?
Hardy calls it why power.
We hear this a lot. Find your why. It's almost become a cliche, you know? But Hardy makes it visceral with the plank scenario.
He does. He asks, if I put a 10-inch wide plank on the ground, would you walk across it for $20?
Sure. It's on the ground. Easy money.
Now, if I put that same plank between 2 skyscrapers, 100 stories up, would you walk across it for $20?
No! You couldn't pay me $1 million. The risk of death is too high.
Okay, now, your child is on the other building. That building is on fire. The only way to save them is to cross the plank. Do you walk across?
Instantly. I don't even think about it. I'm right gone.
What changed?
Huh.
The plank is the same. The wind is the same. The height is the same. Your skill level is the same. The only thing that changed is the why. When the why is big enough, the how becomes irrelevant. You will figure it out.
So if you can't stick to your diet, it's not because you're weak. It's because your why isn't big enough. Wanting to look good in jeans isn't a burning building.
Exactly. It's too big to fight the donut. You know,
Right.
Why that makes you cry or makes you angry. And Hardy actually leans into the angry part. He says you can use negative motivation.
The enemy.
Yes. We're taught that motivation should be all sunshine and rainbows. But sometimes, spite is a great fuel. I'm going to prove that teacher wrong who said I'd be nothing.
I'm going to beat my genetics.
I hate being broke more than I love sleeping in. Pete Carroll, the legendary football coach, used this. He was short. He used his lack of height as a chip on his shoulder his whole life.
Whatever gets you across the plank.
Whatever it takes.
Okay, let's get tactical. We have our why. How do we actually break the bad habits? Hardy gives a few strategies.
Strategy 1. Identify your triggers, habits or loops.
Yeah.
Trigger backs, action, reward. You have to find the trigger. What are the who, what, where, when that precedes the bad habit? Do you only smoke when you drink with Dave? Then Dave might be the trigger.
Sorry, Dave, you gotta go.
Strategy 2, clean house. This is about environment. If you're trying to quit sugar, why are there cookies in your pantry? Don't rely on willpower to say no to the cookies every single time you open the cupboard. Just throw them out. Make it easy on yourself.
Okay, strategy 3, swap it.
Nature abhors a vacuum. If you just stop smoking, you have this empty space in your day, in your hands. You need to fill it. Replace the cigarette with a lollipop. Replace the after-work drink with a sparkling water. Give your brain a substitute reward that's less harmful.
And finally, strategy 4, ease in versus jump in.
This is a debate. Some people say start small, others say rip the Band-Aid off. Hardy says it depends. For some things, like learning a language, ease in, 15 minutes a day. But for things that are actively killing you, like a drug addiction or a toxic relationship, you can't ease out. You have to jump.
I think the jump in works best for personality types that are all or nothing. I'm an all or nothing guy. If I have one cookie, I'm going to have the whole box. So for me, it has to be 0 cookies.
Exactly. Know thyself. And on the flip side, for installing good habits.
Set up for success.
Reduce the friction. If you want to run in the morning, sleep in your running clothes. Put your alarm clock across the room. Make it harder not to do it than to do it.
And then there is the public display of accountability.
Oh, this is powerful. Tell everyone what you're going to do. Post it on Facebook. Tell your kids. The fear of looking like a hypocrite or a failure is a massive motivator. We care what the tribe thinks. Use that vanity to your advantage.
Okay, moving to chapter 4. We have our choices. We're building habits. Now we need the secret sauce, momentum, or as Hardy calls it, Big Mo.
Big Mo. This is the difference between an amateur and a pro. Physics tells us, objects at rest stay at rest. Objects in motion stay in motion. The hardest part of any rocket launch is the first few miles.
The space shuttle uses something like 80% of its fuel just to break through the atmosphere and reach orbit.
Right. It's fighting gravity. It's fighting friction. But once it's in orbit, it can circle the Earth at 17,000 miles per hour using almost 0 fuel. That is momentum.
The problem is most people live their lives on the launch pad. They burn all their fuel, get 3 feet off the ground, look at the fuel gauge, panic, and then they cut the engine.
And then they crash back down. And here's the tragedy. To get back to where they were, they have to burn all that fuel all over again.
Hardy uses the pump the well analogy here, and I think this is the best visual in the entire book for entrepreneurship or fitness.
It's so good. Imagine an old-fashioned hand pump for water. You know, the iron lever you have to crank up and down.
I can picture it on a farm somewhere.
So you walk up to this well. It's been dry for a while. You start pumping. Up, down, up, down. You're pumping hard. You're sweating. Your arms are burning. But looking at the spout, nothing. Not a drop. Just dust.
And you're thinking, this well is broken. There is no water. I'm wasting my time and my energy.
But underground, the physics are working. The vacuum is being created. The water is rising. It's climbing the pipe. It's 2 feet from the top. 1 foot. 6 inches. You are literally moments away from a gush of water.
And that is the moment most people stop. They let go of the handle. It's not working.
And what happens when they let go? The water doesn't just stay there, suspended in the pipe. Gravity takes over. It falls all the way back down to the water table.
That is heartbreaking. All that work for nothing.
It is.
Yeah.
Because when you come back 5 minutes later, you can't just pump once to get the water back. You have to start the entire process over again from scratch. You have to do all that heavy lifting again.
This is why consistency is so critical. It's not just about being good. It's about protecting your investment of effort. If you stop for 2 weeks, you lose all the pressure in the pipe.
Exactly. But if you keep pumping, once the water finally flows, you don't have to pump hard anymore. You just have to give the handle a little tap every now and then to keep the pressure up. That is the maintenance phase of success. It's easy, but you have to earn the right to be there.
So how do we keep pumping when our arms are tired? We can't use willpower forever. We already established that.
Routines. You have to operationalize your day so you don't have to think about it. Hardy is huge on bookending the day.
The morning and evening routines.
Yes. You can't control what happens at 2 p.m., A client will yell at you, your kid will get sick, the server will crash. The middle of the day is chaos. But you can control the first hour and the last hour.
The morning routine is the launch sequence.
Exactly. Don't check your phone. Don't let the world invade your brain yet. Meditate. Read something positive. Exercise. Review your MVPs, your most valuable priorities for the day. Calibrate your compass before you start walking.
And the evening routine is the cash out.
Right. Review the day. What went right? What went wrong? Why? Read something inspiring to prime your subconscious for sleep. And most importantly, plan the next day. Never start a day until it is finished on paper.
If you wake up without a plan, you are already behind. You become reactive instead of proactive.
You're playing defense all day. Correct.
Okay, chapter 5, influences. We've talked about all this internal stuff, choices, habits, routines, but we don't live in a vacuum. We are social creatures.
And we are absorbent like sponges. Hardy categorizes influences into 3 buckets: input, associations, and environment.
Let's start with input. Garbage in, garbage out.
Your brain is a supercomputer, but it will process whatever data you feed it. If you feed it fear, scandal, murder, and negativity, which is basically the 6 p.m. news.
Your output will be anxiety and cynicism.
For sure. Hardy is pretty militant about this. He advocates a strict media diet. He basically says, stop watching the news.
People always push back on this, but I need to be informed.
Hardy argues, do you really? Does knowing about a robbery in a state you don't live in actually help you live your life? Or does it just make you scared?
He has a great line. He says, if it's important enough, someone will tell you.
Right. Instead of the news, he suggests what he calls university on wheels.
Turn your car into a classroom. I love this.
The average American drives hundreds of hours a year. If you listen to audiobooks, like on Audible, instead of talk radio, you would have the equivalent of a PhD in your field within a few years. It's wasted time that could be compounding time.
Bucket number 2, associations. Who you hang out with.
Jim Rohn's famous quote, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." This is a law of nature.
Hardy calls this the drift.
It's so subtle. If your 5 best friends all eat fast food, you will eventually eat fast food. If they all complain about their boss, you will start to complain about your boss. It's a gravitational pull. You don't decide to become negative, you just drift there.
So what do we do? Fire all our friends? This is the part where people get really uncomfortable. It feels mercenary.
It is uncomfortable.
Whoa.
But Hardy argues you have to be intentional. He suggests categorizing people into 3 groups: dissociations, limited associations, and expanded associations.
Dissociations sounds harsh.
It is. Cut them off completely. These are the toxic people, the energy vampires, the ones who actively drag you down. You can't afford them.
Okay, limited associations.
These are the tricky ones. Maybe it's an old high school buddy or even a family member. They aren't evil, but they are stagnant. They complain. They have no ambition.
You can't just divorce your uncle because he complains about politics.
No, but you can control the dosage. Spend 3 minutes with them at Thanksgiving, not 3 hours with them every weekend. Protect your energy.
And finally, expanded associations.
These are the people who are where you want to be. The mentors, the high achievers. You need to chase these people. Join their clubs, go to their conferences. Their normal needs to become your new normal.
And he suggests a peak performance partner.
Yeah, a running buddy for life. Someone who calls you every Friday and asks, did you hit your goals this week?
Yeah.
Knowing that call is coming will make you work harder on Wednesday.
Accountability. And finally, environment.
Your physical space. Clean up the clutter. A messy desk is a messy mind. But also, upgrade your environment. Hardy talks about when he was young and broke, he would go to the fancy hotels just to sit in the lobby and drink a $5 coffee he couldn't afford.
Why? To feel rich.
To absorb the vibration of success, to see how wealthy people walked and talked, to expand his perspective of what was possible. You can't dream of a mansion if you've never left your basement.
Okay, we're in the home stretch. Chapter 6, acceleration. This is the fun part. This is how you take the compound effect and put it on steroids.
Acceleration is all about moments of truth.
I relate this to sports. It makes so much sense.
It's pure athletics, Hardy says. The real growth happens only after you hit the wall.
The wall, when your legs are burning, your lungs are screaming, and your brain says, stop, this is it, I'm done.
That is the moment of truth. Up until that point, you were just warming up. The rep after you want to quit is the only rep that counts. That is where the muscle grows. Everything before that was just preparation.
He uses Lance Armstrong as the example here. And yes, we all know about the doping scandal now. But the psychological principle he describes is still totally valid.
Exactly. In the Tour de France, Whenever the weather turned terrible rain, sleet, hail, that is when Armstrong would attack. He would sprint.
Why? That seems completely counterintuitive. You should conserve energy.
Because he knew everyone else was miserable. He knew they were mentally checking out, just trying to survive the day. He knew that was the moment he could create the biggest gap. When others are breaking, you accelerate.
So when the economy crashes or your industry is in a slump, that is your tour de France moment. That is when you attack.
Precisely. While your competitors are pulling back on marketing and laying people off, you double down. You steal their market share.
And finally, the concept of multiplying results by doing the unexpected.
This is the extra 1%. If you do what is expected of you, you get paid. If you do 1% more, you get wealthy.
It's the shock and awe strategy.
Hardy tells the story of Alex, a job hunter. He was a finalist for a big job. The CEO told him, "We're flying the final 3 candidates to HQ." Alex wasn't one of them. He was out.
So most people would just send a sad email and move on. Thanks for the opportunity.
Right. But Alex asked Hardy for advice. Hardy said, "No, fly yourself there. Show up in the lobby. Refuse to leave until they see you for 5 minutes. Shock them."
That is terrifying. That takes guts. Did he do it?
He didn't. He was too scared, and he didn't get the job.
Missed opportunity.
A huge one. But compare that to someone like Richard Branson. Branson doesn't just launch a soda. He drives a tank down Fifth Avenue to crush Coca-Cola cans. He does the unexpected.
And Hardy used this in real estate, didn't he?
Yes. When a listing expired, every agent in town would call the homeowner. List with me, list with me.
Yeah.
Hardy wouldn't call. He would drive to their house, knock on the door, and hand them a sold sign.
What did he say?
He'd say, "Here, take this. You'll need it when you hire me."
That is audacious. I love that.
It's audacious, it's memorable, and it screams confidence. That is acceleration. Doing the thing that others are too afraid or too lazy to do.
So we've covered the penny, the habits, the momentum, the influences, and the acceleration. It's a complete system.
It is. But if we boil it all down, it comes back to patience and responsibility. Success equals small, smart choices plus consistency plus time. That's it.
There is a challenge at the end of the book that I want to leave our listeners with. It's a sobering thought.
It is. Look back at your life 5 years ago. Think about where you were, what you were doing, how much money you had. Now look at today. Are you where you wanted to be?
And if the answer is no,
then you need to realize this. The next 5 years will be exactly the same as the last 5, unless you change your choices today. The treadmill doesn't stop unless you consciously step off of it.
that hits hard. But it's the truth we need to hear.
I'll leave you with this final thought from the book. We spend our lives chasing success. We chase money. We chase love. But Hardy says, success isn't something you pursue. Success is something you attract by the person you become. If you want more, you must become more.
Powerful stuff. Thank you for taking this deep dive with us. Listen, we gave you a lot of information today, but information without execution is just trivia. Don't let this be just another podcast you listen to. Pick one thing.
Just one.
Start tracking your money, or throw out the cookies in your house, or bookend your day. Just one small thing.
And do it consistently.
Do it consistently and let the penny double. Make sure you are subscribed to the Audible Books channel. We have some incredible titles coming up that build right on top of this foundation. Until next time, keep compounding.